Artest is similar to Michael Jordan in that way. He practices so hard. Remember the old love of the game clause that Jordan put into his contract? He said, look, you can't restrict me from playing. That's the kind of thing Artest would do as well.
Carmelo Anthony taking it to the rim, draws the foul.
See the shooting percentage down at 40%. So he is doing a better job, as you saw in that last possession, of working without the ball.
As George telling us that he told Carmelo Anthony has to lessen the degree of difficulty. Anthony is fouled. Carmelo will head back to the line.
I'm so impressed watching Carmelo here early on. We saw them a couple times early in the season, and he looked out of shape. He looked lazy. He wasn't working without the ball. And here tonight, at both ends of the floor, he's being active and aggressive. You look, last season, his numbers weren't as good points-wise, but he shot the ball better. He was better on the glass, and he came into this season a little out of shape, and I think maybe wasn't quite as confident. I think he was or maybe a little overconfident, and as a result, he sort of lost some of that confidence, lost his way a little bit. I think George Karl is the perfect coach for him right now to come in and kind of resurrect his career, even though he's only in his second year.
This is Jones. And the foul is called on Jackson in the collision with Anthony.
And that's 2 free throws. And that's the problem when you get into the penalty this early in the quarter. All of a sudden, you can't afford those little cheap ones like Steven Jackson picked up there.
Tim Donaghy, Pat Prayer, the officials tonight. So Denver now leads 18-13. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We're at the Pepsi Center in the Mile High City. Rebounded by Anthony. Yes, and the foul. Carmelo heads back to the line.
Well, this is the activity that George Karl wants from him. When you talk about moving without the ball, sometimes it's moving to the offensive glass, and this guy is so talented, so strong, so quick that when he's active with his game, he's going to pick up little cheap hoops around the basket. He's going to improve so much, and I think it's going to be dramatic as we watch him continue on under George Karl.
Carmelo Anthony with his 7th free throw. He's 5 of 7 at the line. He's 7 points in all. Denver back up by 3. Brian Russell. Anthony off the curl, draws the foul. Met by Jermaine O'Neal, called for the block.
Well, Anthony got a great rest there.
And again, spending much time at the free throw line. Carmelo now 6 of 8 at the line. Reminder, national coverage of the NBA continues this week. Tomorrow night on ESPN, Sacramento is at Miami, followed by Dallas and the Lakers starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Saturday on NBA TV, it's the Bulls and the Bucks. 8:30 start, and then Sunday on ABC, Dallas and Houston, followed by Detroit.
You see the numbers, almost 3 blocks per game, and everything changes when he's near the basket. All of a sudden, you don't get the points in the paint. And look at the lob to Carmelo. Denver on a roll here.
Nuggets now lead it by 12, 5.5 remaining in this first half. Anthony putting the move on Jones and score. Carmelo Anthony thought he was fouled. 13 for Anthony. On only 5 shot attempts because he's 7 of 9 at the line, and the Pacers want to talk it over.
Now, George Karl talked about if he moved without the ball, he said, look, I'm willing to go with some catch and hold. So here he catches, he holds for a second, he's feeling a little bit, takes Jones one-on-one, gets the bucket.
Strong first half for Carmelo.
Well, George Karl said, look, I want to make the game easier for you, Carmelo, and the way to do that is to move without the ball, to attack the rim, to use your strength instead of just going ISO one-on-one. And another way to do that is to get on the offensive glass. Use that athletic ability with hustle points like that. And it's amazing the transformation in his game just in the last few weeks since Karl has been here. Just looks so much more confident.
And away from the ball, a push call on Fred Jones.
Maybe Anthony sold it well.
David Harrison, as I mentioned, out of University of Colorado, first-round draft pick, the 29th pick in the draft. All Big 8, averaged 17 points a game last season at Colorado. His dad is Dennis Bigfoot Harrison, Pro Bowl defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles. And David Harrison was in the starting lineup when his teammates were serving suspensions for that brawl in Detroit. In fact, started 14 games.
It was interesting talking to Rick Carlisle before the game. He said at the end of this season, we're going to know everything we need to know about every player on this roster.
He is definitely out, sprained, and it was dislocated.
So more bad news for the Pacers, as once again Carmelo Anthony able to get inside, and the Nuggets now lead by 17.
What a nightmarish season for Rick Carlisle. Remember, this club won 61 games a year ago, leading the NBA with that record. There we go.
So you can get more playing time. Anthony extends to a 65-47 lead.
I used to try to trip Tim Duncan occasionally. Anything that meant more shots, that was fun.
Well, as you say that, Anthony walks around James Jones, gets the bucket, and draws the foul.
Well, why do you take so much joy when that happens?
Does it sound like it?
Yes, and you're smiling. You are living for this type of thing, aren't you?
The timing was
The
so
timing
perfect.
was perfect. Too
What were you
strong.
saying about Jones?
Well, I was saying he's not a very good defensive player, Marv. For Phoenix, they're playing at home, so they have the advantage. They'll have the crowd behind them. They can generate that energy to try to force the issue. But of course, Detroit, one of the best defensive clubs in the league. We'll see if they can slow down that high-octane offense of Phoenix. And you see Anthony getting fouled going to the rim, but when he had to fire Bzdelic, I think it was a tough call for him, but the two never meshed philosophically with their offensive priorities. It's been a very busy season, in fact, because when Bzdelic was fired, Michael Cooper was promoted, as you see there. Cooper was then demoted. He's now an advanced scout for the organization. The Nuggets hired George Karl and, of course, brought Doug Moe to the bench. So there's been a major shakeup here mid-season, but 11-4 since Karl took over, so they are heading in the right direction.
Now the Nuggets went 7-1 in preseason following the 43-win year with much time to play. Anthony gets inside and draws the foul. Carmelo Anthony will shoot two. And the foul is on James Jones. That's 4 on Jones. Anthony is 12 of 14 at the line.
Of course, without Jermaine O'Neal in the lineup, as we talked about earlier, he was injured before halftime. No shot blocking presence for Indiana, so look for Denver and Carmelo Anthony in particular to really try to take the ball to the basket.
George Karl going with Anthony, Russell, and Camby up front. Boykins and Buckner in the backcourt. Rick Carlisle stays with the backcourt of Eddie Gill and Fred Jones.
Well, Indiana's not only picked up their defense, but they've taken care of the basketball here in the second half. Just 2 turnovers. Carmelo Anthony with the jumper.
28 points for Anthony, remaining on the floor despite the 5 personal fouls.